excited about having an actual place to broadcast from, getting set up on my equipment. So this is kind of a test, but hopefully things will work out. And what I want to do is if you've been following me on Facebook, sharing along with me, that I've been posting some things that concerning in this move of God that we're moving into and stepping into a total new dimension, a new reality. I believe prophetically that looks like what no eye has seen, no ear has heard, our mind hasn't even conceived the things that God has prepared for those who love Him. But what is happening is we are so accustomed to what I call the wilderness lifestyle and the church age that it's difficult for many of us to embrace change. And so God has released the spirit of burning. I was just reading in Isaiah about the spirit of burning, and what that burning does, it purifies the gold, it brings the dross up to the top through real life circumstances. It's been really difficult for a lot of us for a number of years, but God is allowing the dross in our lives to be exposed so that we can remove the impurities so that we can come forth as pure gold. And so that's what God is doing. He's preparing us for this move of God. And some of the things I want to share with you in this move are on my Facebook page, and I'm going to continue to post some of those things, but I just want to share with you. The first one I said, in this move of God, it's going to require that you step out of a slave and a servant mentality. Isn't that interesting? We've been a bond servant, we've been a bond slave, and that's been good and wonderful. But now God is requiring us to become a son and even the bride of Christ, the bridal company. And so we want to retire that old horse. We were talking about the old horses that we've been riding in the church ages. The religious spirit has been controlling us and manipulating us and oppressing us so that we would be that we would stay in that slavery mentality and that servanthood mentality. Now, I'm not saying serving is wrong. We're going to still continue to serve, but it's with Him, as one with Him, not for Him. And so we need to retire that old horse we've been riding forever and put it out to pasture. It's been a good horse. We rode it for a long time. So now it's time to move into a new dimension, retire that old horse, step into some new things that God has prepared for it. So what we need to do is to do that. We step into that dimension, that new reality, this new era by faith. We're no longer waiting, contending, tarrying, and pressing in. But in the kingdom age, we're called to step in by faith. It's simple. Stepping in is actually an accelerator to the manifestation of what God has prepared for us. So we step into our royal identity as a son and our authority as a manifest son and in the bridal company. In other words, you will become the new move of God. God is activating each and every one of us. This move is going to require all of us to activate. So we're no longer waiting and tarrying and pressing in and continue. We're stepping in, and the day and time of talking about it is over. Now it's time to activate ourselves, activate our spirit man, our soul, and our body to come into alignment with what heaven is doing right now, because we're not waiting. We're stepping into the eternal realms of heaven, and we become that embassy, that ambassador of heaven in everything we do. So we're no longer to wait, tarry, press in, or contend. Put that old horse out to pasture. Stepping in by faith as an accelerator again to the manifestation in the kingdom age. You are to become a co-creator with Yahweh to deliver creation from the bondage of corruption and bring heaven to earth. Read Romans 8:19. That's talking about the mature son that is responsible for delivering creation from the bondage of corruption. Now, we've been talking about being a child and being childlike, but to be entrusted with the responsibility to deliver creation from the bondage of corruption, we are being matured to be able to handle that responsibility so we won't mess it up. God is going to entrust us. Those who have been embracing the process are going to be entrusted with this authority to rule and reign. In this move of God, the next post I said, in this move of God, He has saved the best wine for now. We have heard over and over that literally everything is changing, and it's true. But it first begins with you and me. Again, He's produced that spirit of burning to identify the dross in us. It's our responsibility to remove the dross. Sometimes what we tend to do is we stir that dross back into and we don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with the junk in our trunk. We don't want to deal with those things. So God is saying, sit in humility and allow me, work with me, and let me show you the things that are of the old, the things that are of this world, things that are of this flesh, and so that we can begin to operate, function together to deliver creation from the bondage of corruption and bring heaven to earth. Makes sense to me. So He is dealing with us each individually to expose and deliver us from the old wineskin. You can't pour new wine in the old wineskin. Fortunately, most of us have old wineskin of the ways we've been taught from influences of the world. We're operating under a mixture of a wineskin that's not going to hold the new wine. So it may be just, and part of this may be just a single action, maybe a motive of your heart, maybe the words that come out of your mouth that you speak. I made a post on Facebook this morning, said something to the effect, listen to the words that come out of your mouth, and you'll begin to see whether you're in this world and of this world, or in this world and not of this world. So we want to be not of this world. We want to be a co-creator with heaven and work with Yahweh to begin to bring heaven on earth according to His plans and purposes. So He's exposing individual pride and the religious spirit in us and the traditions of man that have controlled us and kept us in bondage. He wants to set us free, and so that we can fully experience this move with Him. With Him is an important part of that. We're a part of this. We're just as much a part of this move as He is. So He happens to love to use a human being to do great things on earth. You might say it's getting real, and it really is. It's been really, really intense. I ask everybody where I go, for the last 3 or 5 years, has this been the most difficult time in your whole entire life? And probably 90 to 95% of the people raise their hand up and say, yeah, that's been me. And so here we are with this incredible transition that we are to enter in with an open heart, open spirit, to begin to receive what God has for us. And so the next post I made, in this move, your language has to change from words of hope to words of faith. You are a co-creator with God, and He's called you to speak, just as He said, let there be light. He wants you and I to be a co-creator with Him, that we speak words that are creative. We can either partner with our words with the accuser of the brethren of darkness, or we can partner with our words with the creator of all things in heaven. And so I didn't partner with heaven. How about you? In this move of God, the church is going to become a government of heaven, ecclesia. The word ecclesia has been a buzzword lately, but you have to understand that an ecclesia is government. It's the government of heaven that God wants to restore back to His church. And actually, it says in the Word, it says, of His government and of His peace, there will be no end. And so that's the increase of His government. There will be no end. And so God is releasing governmental legislators, manifest sons to come on the scene to legislate heaven on earth and partner with Him to be able to do that. In the next post, I said, in this move of God, you and I are being awakened from our slumber and will begin to manifest 1 John 4:17, my favorite scripture. As He is, so are we in this world. As He is, so are we in this world. That's a prophetic declaration from the Father Himself. Said, as He is, so are we in this world. Where? In this world. Not when we go and come back, but He said, in this world, we are to be just as the Father. He said, ye are gods, That wasn't a rebuke. He was identifying our identity. Next post I said, in this move of God, it will not be so important for you to preach a message or lay hands on anyone under the anointing. Let me just clarify that. There's 3 realms of the supernatural. Faith is number 1. Number 2 is the anointing. Number 3 is the glory realm. We need to understand the glory realm. We need to learn how to operate in the glory realm. Glory and presence are not synonymous terms. They're 2 completely different. Maybe we'll do some serious teachings on the glory realm. But we had some incredible experiences up in Reno. We're beginning to have here in Destin, where we created a habitation of God's glory in that room, in a casino, actually, where what happened was, 30 to 40% of the people that came up to the top floor where we had our meetings would get hit walking out of the elevator, be healed, delivered, set free from oppression, just walking into that habitation of God's glory, heaven on earth, that we built that habitation. So we want to move from an occasional visitation to a habitation to build cultures of God's glory on the earth. Heaven on earth, that's what the glory is all about. So in this world, to do that, we become as He is, so are we in this world. We're a carrier, we're an ambassador, we are the open heaven, we're the portals of God's glory ever go. And sometimes we're going to have to learn that we don't have to always preach a message. We need to die to our need to preach a message and many other things. So you become the message, you become the carrier, you become the open heaven. And so the next post was talking about, in this move of God, we're moving beyond the one-man show, the 5-fold ministry, and our revival mentality, digging old wells. What's that about? Well, God said, behold, I do a new thing. What are you doing when you're trying to dig an old well? You're going back and looking back, and you're not looking toward the future. You're looking something that wasn't complete. Well, maybe there's some truth into redigging the old wells to finish what they started. But God says, behold, I do a new thing. I want to use you. I want to use you as an individual. I want to use you in a group in a total new way that I've never released before on earth. A buddy of mine, Ron Jones, if you hear this, hey Ron, how you doing? One of the things he said I think was really, really key. Me being a forerunner, I can't copy anything on earth. He said to me, God said, if I copy anything on earth, you'll be successful, but that's not what I have you doing as a forerunner. Ron Jones said that if you get your vision from the earth, it'll only be on earth as it already is on earth. On earth as it already is on earth. How many people are doing that where we tend to copy some notable man's ministry or a church out there? We have instant success, but it's the same old thing, dressing up a horse with a different saddle. It's an old horse. Kick that puppy out the pasture. And we're going to be doing a new thing. And so, what we're learning to do is move beyond the until. Thank you, Justin Abraham, for speaking this. One of the most powerful things that opened my eyes to see where we're going. In Ephesians 4:11, we tend to get stuck in the 5-fold ministry in verse 11 and 12. We got stuck there in the 5-fold ministry, but the first word in verse 13 says until. Until means that there's something else coming, there's something greater coming, something greater is already here. And so what it means is, goes on to say that we would no longer be children, and that we would come to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. Each and every one of us. You think that's maturity? That we can then begin to step into oneness with the Father and begin to deliver creation from the bondage of corruption? Yes, I do. And so that's where we're going. And if you want to take that into further, I'm not going to go over it, but verse 14 and 16 imply that the one-man show is over. I want you to go read that on your own. And so, and the next one, last one, but there'll be more. In this move of God, I posted, I believe Yahweh is shifting us from the old model of building my network, my ministry, and ordination. I've been ordained for a number of years. Not one person of all the places I've been asked for my ordination papers. And, they don't care. They care what you carry. They're after heaven. They want something real beyond what man has approved. So we're moving from the old model of building a network and ordination, which has been traditionally used in the church age, been widely misused to build a hierarchy system of man with an earthly mountain, to build their earthly mountain or ministry with a group of disciples following or serving the leader. It hasn't been totally wrong, but there's been some error uh, in serving the leader in a slave or servant mentality rather than equipping disciples of Christ to rise up and stand on their own mountain of authority and in their identity as a son of Yahweh and the bride of Christ. And so in this move, everyone has a voice, everyone has a ministry, everyone is powerful. You are being awakened. You and I both are being awakened to who we really are. And that, go back up to 1 John 4:17. As he is, so are we in this world. That's who we really are. And if you saw my post, you'll see there's a picture is of that. As they fear the day you discover who you really are. So they want to keep you oppressed. They want to keep you down. That's not only talking about some of the church leaders, some of the fivefold ministry. They want the recognition of whatever, but God is moving that. But it's also from the dark side. You know, the demonic realm wants to keep you oppressed to not knowing who you are. So I want to close with this. My favorite quote from R. Buckminster Fuller is this: "You never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete." Well, it's time to build a new model. Here at Revolution Center in Destin, Florida, we're doing that. We're going to begin to do it online. We're going to do more and more as the Lord provides. For more office time, we're going to do more webinars. We're going to do more Facebook Lives. We're going to do whatever we can. We're going to do ecclesia meetings online. If you'd like to sow in that, I've got 5 days a month. That's not enough. I really could be in here every day. For a full month, unlimited time, 24-hour access is only $500 a month. If you want to sow into that, go to my website, revolutionglory.com. And you'll find the ways to give there. And it'll be a blessing so we can get work together. We can have guest speakers. And, you know, everything I do is about, you know, the one-man show is over. We're modeling that. So I want you to participate with me. If it's just sowing a seed, trading into this ministry to activate it in your life, I want to ask you to do that and partner with us. And let's transform. You know, the whole message today to me is about transformation. So let's do that. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for giving tithes and your offerings and your first fruits. And so God bless you guys, and we hope to see you soon online and in Destin, Florida. God bless you. Thank you.